Let me start with the next speaker. So our next speaker from Jamia Hamdard is Dr. N. Ravichandran. He is HOD Department of Healthcare and Pharmaceutical Management at Jamia Hamdard. Over the past 1.5 decades of his distinguished career, he has completed many research studies and projects besides his long-standing teaching experience. Also, he has obtained his MPS from IIPS and PhD from Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai. He has 1.5 decades of distinguished career and has completed many research studies and projects. So I invite Professor N. Ravichandran to share with us his thoughts about what the future holds.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Swati. Good morning and wish you a very happy new year and hope this new year would bring us with healthy life and prosperity in terms of well-being to near and dear one to all of you. Let me thank the organizer to making us Jamia Hamdard to be a co-host along with the concept of Brand Managers Day. We really feel proud to be partner in the journey and hope we'll be able to bring the memories more enriching coming days. Today we gathered with the notion of branding. We all know the pharma industry has been very successful for decades by increasing its market, not only in the developing countries, but also so important positioning in the developing countries like Bangladesh, India, and other many Asian countries. Yet, many changes are transforming the business, forcing major pharma industry to rethink their strategies. There are various reasons. These reasons automatically build up various brand positioning and job creation. The developing a new medicine that can cure or prevent incurable diseases. That is the current focus of every pharmaceutical company. The second, the customer expectations are rising continuously. That is, the patients are looking for value for the money. The third, no progress in the discovery and the development process, particularly drug or medicine manufacturing it. Still, we follow the conventional approach. That is, the scientific productivity is lackluster and stagnant. So there is a larger scope to focus on drug discovery, clinical research, product management, to brand it. The fourth point, organization culture is a basic need or bringing climate change in their thinking process that many industries have failed repeatedly during 90s, particularly during the globalization. They failed to hold the talents, and late 2000s, that economic recession, again, we failed to hold the skilled ones and led to the recession further. Today, Corona has brought us to the knee level, and many of the countries not able to rise to the economic orientations. And fifth one, the pharma economic performance of drugs is increasingly being regulated, scrutinized by the healthcare authority of their own countries. So because every drug medicine is manufactured as less quality oriented. Not only that, larger side effects that implicated the larger household economy in terms of out-of-pocket expenditure or in terms of spending pattern of the individual. The sixth is self-medication. OTP sector is expanding rapidly. That is also affecting the pharma industry. And the seventh, today, government of many countries or whoever is heading the government, their focus is not just treatment, prevention. The pharma industry is needed to realign with that modalities. So if you look at these rationales, the significance that have highlighted here are demanding two sets. I can put it other way, the two sides of the coin. That is, one is called talent, other is called skill. Let me put this talent and skill into more effective way of communicating it. Give an example. One is like called competence, that is talent is called competence, skill is called competency. Let me put these two factors in a basket and explain through an example. You all know how to drive two-wheelers or four-wheeler. When you are learning the driving, either two-wheeler or four-wheeler, there is a master sitting next to you, controlling your gears, clutches, even brake, and guiding you how to accelerate your speed and control it and monitor the movement of the people on the road. While the master understands your psychology of control, that is called motor skill, then he started to take you to the little bigger park or the ground, then he drives with the guidance. That means you learn how to drive. That is called talent. But another set is, once you know how to drive, that is, you have acquired the talent, acquired the skill, life skill, how to drive. But that doesn't end there unless until you develop another dimension of the confident driving in the crowded market or traffic roads, you will not be able to succeed in that. So that means if you want to build your brand or you want yourself to brand, that means you need a talent one side, there is another side, the skill vertical. Unless until you keep them together, you will not be able to succeed. Okay, so what it means? It means talent is what to do. That's what the question is. The skill is how to do. So how it is linked to the branding? As individual, one is to positioning it. If you look at the pharma industry has larger opportunities where you being a student, you being or aspiring to be a manager, to focus on the couple of parameters which I am going to list out. One is income of individual is increasing it. That means every individual wanted to lead in comfortable way. So that means they are going to develop more unhealthy practice or develop unhealthy problems. Second, there are n number of like infectious diseases, communicable diseases, non-communicable diseases are going to catch up. Say, for instance, we caught up with coronavirus. Just 2 years back, we had a Nipah virus. Then 6 years away from Nipah virus, we had a MERS. Then just before that, we had a SARS. One or other virus came into play and having a faster growth rate than the population growth rate. That means there is a demand for a production. That is the branding required. In addition to that, rapid urbanization, migrations, pulling up the different health problems, adding to the climate change, that also would bring down many other health issues in the short run. That also increasing into the life expectancy. That means people are willing to live longer with the diseases and take their medicine as a their part of the life. The changing disease profile, like for example, once upon a time, it was believed that women in general do not develop heart-related problems. Now, more younger women are reporting to heart-related problems. That means the changing the disease profile. That means being a pharma manager are required to focus how the disease profile are getting changed. Let me put it one more example, like, in Bangladesh itself, in the last 2 years, I came to know from a couple of friends who stay in Bangladesh, they said about 1,500 drugs have been registered to only to export. That means it is going to be a challenge to a country like India, which is saying that we are the pioneering infrastructure, particularly the pharma intellectuals in India. Reason is, when they say they have registered 1,500 medicines to export, that means indirectly they are going to reduce 70% of the drugs import. India also would pay the music. That means those who are in Bangladesh or nearby countries, they need to think about what are the opportunities. If you just think this is the concept, these are analytic, the case state. So what will happen? This would lead to big regulatory affairs. The Bangladesh has to gear up towards the regulation, bigger regulations towards quality assurance. And because of that, what will happen? There are larger number of licensing would acquisition to take place. So there need to be a rules and regulation or law to be amended. When we have larger amount of production is getting registered to only export, that means the country required a quality managers, total quality management concept to be emerged so that quality can be strengthened. This required further R&D, research and development, better clinical orientations. Besides, all this export will take place to another destination. That destination also will have a larger number of direct, indirect job orientations. Not only that, the job orientation not coming from direct enabling skills, it coming through indirect enabling skills. So when you talk about those components, the pharma managers need to look at other job opportunities like logistic management, inventory system, standardization process, product management, and project planning to managerial skills. That means one set of direct employment would indirectly strengthen the other set of job opportunities. That means one has to brand themselves based on their skill. Being all, you are all young aspirant pharma manager, I like to put it, how it's going to work out. So that means if you are directly aspiring to hold a particular position, say, for example, you like to hold a position of clinical research, how it is going to impact on the indirect skill of your project planning. That is, you are looking at two components. One is direct skilling, another is called indirect skilling. Okay, let me tell you through a story. Say there are two people. I'm just trying to link the early story of driving. You learn to drive. Now, after learning to drive, there are two friends who are trying to venture out, going to the wild jungle. When they're planning to go to a jungle to adventurism, they were going almost 5 to 6 kilometers inside of the jungle. They found there was no wild animals to be seen. So they developed the confidence and got down, and they decided to walk. Okay, let's now walk for a while. So they started to discuss, and while discussing, they walked almost half a kilometer inside the jungle again, without having any equipment or any other support mechanism. Then they decided themselves, okay, there is no wild animals, so nobody there to attack or that. Just they turn around, they saw there are lions and tigers standing in front of them. You know what would happen? Now they don't have any equipments with them, neither they can run, because they do not have any experience of running in the wild jungle, because predators always run much faster than the prey. So they have strategies, they develop their strategies. Okay, let me stop over the story there. Now you know what will happen to them, or that I leave it to you. So what I'm trying to tell you, the talent and skill, that is, you are holding a degree, that is only the talent. You are acquired some knowledge, acquired some kind of oriented business. But you are not a licensed enough, the skill enough to execute it, overcome from the difficulties. So what you need to look at is, you need to be very different person from simple pharmacist to a managerial orientation. That means there is a brand positioning as a commercial counseling also required. Like before you join any college, you might have consulted many counselors, which course could be best or which could be suitable to you, or which you are aspiring whether to support you enough. So you might be looking at those angles. So when you look at all this, you have to look at multiple other factors that are required to strengthen these two, or bonding these two components. That means besides your degree holding, as number of positioning is created, either directly or indirectly, all require different kind of skill. Every young aspiring pharma students, or I could say health managers, you should be demonstrate your passion. You are aspired to build the brand, and be polite and communicative, and good enough to communicate what is the best of today and how to strategize them. You may face some negativities or that are part of the life, but you have to be stubborn with your goal, but be flexible with the methods in communicate. So this would help to strengthen your brand positioning it. Besides, there are certain skills which I like to put it forward. There are new opportunities in terms of brand. That is, research analytics are coming up, how data are interpreted, data mining to be used. Then one has to be adapting the instrumental data for competitive analysis. And you might be having everything. As I said, the talent and skills are two sets of coin. I mean, two sides of the coin. But there is a bonding. The bonding is nothing but an entrepreneur. You have to be an entrepreneur in the entire process or entire mechanism. For that, how to be a brand manager or entrepreneurial manager, everyone, as you grow, as you wish to grow in the ladder, you have to think about being an entrepreneur. So that requires a couple of skills. That is, one is communication skill, that is, we call it soft skills. The second, critical and structural thinking. The third, negotiating skills. Fourth, cultural awareness. Fifth, integrity. Sixth component, self-esteem. Seventh, business management. And eighth, project management. That means one need to be a brand manager. They need to acquire not just talent, regard adequate skill to execute while bonding along with the entrepreneurial mode. I hope I'm able to build the components and talent and skills, how the future pharma industries are going to look at. This cannot be just done by only individual. There are partners in the journey, like institutions are required to take more industry academia exercise, and industry also need to come forward a little more, not just for giving a placement, or not just looking only end of the final last quarter of the year, financial quarter, they recruit more students only for marketing. Now, instead of that, they should walk along with the students and counsel them, orient them, develop their skills. At the end, create a pool of students, pool of skills, so that they can reach their positioning. Every student can fulfill their dreams. So institutions, industries also equally partner with the students' aspirations and dreams and responsible. So with that, I take this opportunity to thank everyone for happy listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor N. Ravichandran. You spoke about the difference between skills and talents. You also touched upon the topic of entrepreneurship, what one has to do to gain these skills. That was a wonderful talk from you. Let me ask some questions. Some students are asking specific topics. Priya is asking, sir, tell us something more about data mining as a part of research analytics, and what is competitive analysis?
Yeah, let me clarify the first one, research analytics. Research, that means, say for example, we talk about the coronavirus. We do not have any history or anyone had a kind of exposure. So what happened? Since we do not have any kind of data system with us, we could not trace it out. Why? For example, Nipah virus. If we talk about Nipah virus or even Ebola virus, once in a 60 years or once in a 80 years, they come back and attack the human being. That means there are data available when the disease would occur or the particular virus would emerge in the particular location or geographical area. That means we know on how and where it is getting transmitted and how far it is progressing it and what level. That is called mining. So that we are going back depth of it and understand what exactly to be done. It's like a sea diving. Or if you dive it, you may think that you might go very faster down the sea. But it takes equally much harder to come up. That means go deeper to understand what it is. That is called data mining, that is research analytics. While coming up, we might come out with many things, discovery or many instrumental one. Okay. So when it comes to the next one, the competitive analysis. So competitive, like for example, I'd like to put it more common understanding. Since we are in the service, if you look at both industries are supposed to talk only bed occupancy. In the hospital also we speak what is the bed occupancy rate of today. In the hotel industry, they also talk about the same thing, bed occupancy. But if you look at the comparativeness, the competitiveness, like once upon a time, it's not very far, like a Zendu bomb, or you can say Amirdanjan. There are two gels used for a headache purpose, but many prefer to go for Amirdanjan because it has a less smell. If you apply for Zendu bomb, the entire world knows that somebody has applied the Zendu bomb. Okay, so that means you need to know the competitiveness, like its effectiveness and the efficiency and the structural protocol. That is called instrumentations. So to use that, called competitive analysis.
Right. Thank you, Professor, for guiding us on this particular topic and elaborating about the data mining and competitive analysis.